जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो गौर हरि। जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय श्रील गुरुदेव। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायुषभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Thank you, Prabhuji and Matajis, for giving me opportunity to speak on Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9, verses number 1 to 18. Let's get started.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Shri Shuka. Hare Krishna, Dhanyavad Pranam. Shri Sukavacha Tasyasan Vishvarupasya Siram Sitrini Bharata Somapetam surapetam manna tamiti sushruma. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Shukadeva Goswami continued. Vishwarupa, who was engaged as a priest of the demigods, had 3 heads. He used one to drink the beverage Somarasa, another to drink wine, and third to eat food. O King Parikshit, thus I have heard from authorities. I will read the purport for this verse. One cannot directly perceive the kingdom of heaven, its king or other inhabitants, or how they perform their various engagements. For no one can go to the heavenly planets. Although modern scientists have invented many powerful space vehicles, they cannot even go to the moon, not to speak of other planets. By direct experience, one cannot learn anything beyond the range of human perception. One must hear from authorities. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami, a great personality says, what I am describing to you, O king, is what I have heard from authoritative sources. This is the Vedic system. The Vedic knowledge is called Shruti because it must be received by being heard from authorities. It is beyond the realm of our false experimental knowledge. So, this chapter is titled The Appearance of Demon Rudrasura. Generally, when we read about appearances, we want to read about the appearance of Lord Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sojuna. But in this chapter, we are hearing about the demon Rudrasura. So I was just contemplating on it. And then I was saying, but Srimad Bhagavatam is Puranam Amalam. That means it is a Purana which has no mala, means no impurities, pure. And what is the purpose? Why we are reading about the appearance of a demon Rudrasura? Because there are many devotees of the Lord. Bhagavatam is about the Lord and his devotees. When we say Janma Karma Chame Divyam for the Lord, we say that his activities, how he reciprocates with his devotees, is also included in it. And also we see that Lord appears not only every yuga, but Lord appears whenever we think of him. We celebrate Janmashtami every year because we want Lord to appear, so Lord appears for us in the Sri Murti. Whenever we want, Lord appears. That is the Lord's great potency. And in the age of Kali, the Lord has appeared in the form of his holy name. And we also know that Lord appears in the hearts of devotees. Krishna says that, Naham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hrudayeshuva tatra tishtanti narada yatra gayanti madbhaktaha. Whenever my devotees are glorified, I appear there. I appear there, Lord says. So we understand the Lord appears when we talk about the devotees. But we are talking about a demon here. We are talking appearance of a demon. So does it make sense? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he says that Prahlada Chasmi Daityanam. He says that of the demons, I am Prahlad. That means when the Lord is saying that, there is not just one person, there are many demons. It's not like if I want to go to an exam, I got the first rank. You ask how many people are there. There's only one person, and he got the first rank. That's not like that. There are many, many demon devotees who are born the demon race, but still are devotees of the Lord. And we have various examples like Vibhishana, we have Bali Maharaj, and Rudrasura is also a devotee of the Lord. We will see in the later chapters how Rudrasura was a devotee of the Lord. And to appreciate that, I'll give you a very small gist of it, so that we know we are talking about a devotee and not a normal devotee, a very great devotee of the Lord. So it is that there's a king called Chitraketu, who did not have any children. So he took shelter of Narada Muni and Angiras Muni, and he gets a child, but because of internal politics in the family, they kill the child, and in despair, he again takes shelter of Narada, and then he was enlightened, and he becomes a devotee of the Lord. But due to misfortune and misunderstanding, this devotee of the Lord get cursed by Mother Parvati, and he was cursed to become a demon. So that is the story of Rudrasura. But the point that we have to understand here is this lesson that we learn from this story of Rudrasura is that the bhakti process, that which is there, it is universal. It does not apply only to specific people. The process of bhakti does not discriminate whether it is a man or woman. It does not discriminate whether it is Indian or American. It does not discriminate whether you are a demon or a devata. It does not discriminate on any means. Everybody is eligible. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham Sarvabhuteshu. He says, I am equal to all. When he says equal to all, he is equal to all. Even the animals, Pashu Pakshi, everybody is equal to all. And everybody has the ability to practice bhakti. The Lord gives the opportunity. He doesn't discriminate. That is one thing we learn. Second is, bhakti is a continuous process. In the sense that he has performed bhakti as Chitraketu. But even if he is born in the next birth as a Vritrasura, the bhakti continues. We have seen various examples like Jadabharat. He has taken the birth as a deer, and he taken birth as from Bharat Maharaj took a birth as Jadabharat, and then as a deer, and then finally Jadabharat, and he still continued his bhakti. Bhakti is such process that Krishna says that I will protect that bhakti. You will carry the bhakti till you achieve your destination. Bhakti is independent. Bhakti does not discriminate. Bhakti is a continuous. Bhakti is natural, because it's a natural thing for us. So, coming back with that lesson that we will learn, and we also see in this chapter how potent is the Narayan Kavacha that was described in the earlier chapter. The glory of Narayan Kavacha. We will see that. And we also see the sins that we acquire by our misdeeds. And how we can counteract those sins, also we will hear about that. With that, I'll go back to these words. And this verse is describing about Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa is having 3 heads. Normally, everybody has 1 head, but Vishwarupa has 3 heads. And it is describing how he is using the 3 heads. The first head is using for drinking soma. Soma rasa means is a divine drink. And the second head is using for drinking wine, alcoholic beverage, something like that. It is to indulge in pleasures, something like that. And third head is using to eat a regular food. So this is also a symbolic representation if you look at it. 1 head means is using for doing right things, 1 for wrong things, 1 for normal things. So he's in 3 modes. One head is for mode of goodness, one for mode of passion, one for mode of ignorance. He has all three in him. But having three heads, every God gives everything for a purpose. Having three heads is not great, but everything God gives us has a purpose. And we see Lord Brahma has four heads. He uses all the four heads in the service of Krishna. We also know that Ravana has 10 heads, but he is using that 10 heads only for his pleasure. And we also know that Lord has thousands of heads. Narayana Sukta says, Sahasra Sirusham Devam Visvaksham Vishvasambhom. He says that Lord has thousands of heads and he has thousands of eyes. And he is the cause of the creation. Similarly, we also see various references, like Purusha Sukta. It also starts saying that Sahasra Sirisha Purushaha, Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat. It says that Lord has thousands of heads, and he has thousands of eyes, he has thousands of legs. And Arjuna has seen that. Already we have seen how Arjuna sees that in his Vishwarupa Sandarshan, in 11th chapter of Gita. As Lord said, Lord has various purposes to fulfill. And he doesn't need all the heads, but he shows up that how he is the head of everything. Everything is under his control. To said that he shows everything is under him, to demonstrate that Lord shows that. Not only Lord, even devotees can have thousands of heads if they are used right. Lord Ananta has thousands of heads, Ananta Sesha. He uses all the 1,000 heads to glorify the Lord. He has been chanting indefinitely from time immemorial to glorify the Lord, and he is not finished anywhere close to. Okay, that tells how we have to use our heads for a purpose. Okay, and one thing that Prabhupada points out here is this Shruti mantra has to be heard from the authorities. We have to get knowledge from the authorities. Otherwise, our knowledge is not right. He says, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Evam parampara praptam, imam rajarshiyo viduhu. Say that this knowledge is passed on in the parampara to all the various kings. And whenever this knowledge is gone, Lord personally appears and makes sure this knowledge is given back so that we can continue this parampara to learn from the right source. That's a very important point. Arjuna had a question. I am going to kill all my family members. Then what happens to all the dharma? Nobody is there to teach. All the parampara is broken. Lord assures him, don't worry about that. If it is broken, I will appear again. I will give it back. Lord is assuring. And he ensures that we have to follow the parampara system and take it. And that is why Rupa Goswami Prabhupada quotes, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatram Vidim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpate Vakalpate. He says that if you don't follow Shruti, Smriti Puranas and follow the Pancharatra Vidhi, then the bhakti that you are doing is only a disturbance. So whatever we are doing is what we hear from the authorities in the correct line, correct discipline. And we are fortunate enough to be in the line of Madhva Gauriya Sampradaya, and we have great acharyas like Srila Prabhupada and other disciples of Srila Prabhupada for guiding us, and we hear from them. We read from Prabhupada's notes. That's why we are very fortunate. And the message we are reading is also right for the purpose. Let's look at the next verse. Savai barhirshi devebhyo bhagam pratyakshamuchakaihi adadad yasya pitaro devaha samprasnas prashrayam nupaha. Means, O Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods were related to Vishwarupa from his father's side. And therefore, He visibly offered clarified butter in the fire while chanting mantras such as Indraya Idam Swaha. This is meant for King Indra. And Idam Agnaye. This is for demigod of fire. He loudly chanted these mantras and offered each of those demigods his proper share. So what is happening here is Vishwarupa, we know from the earlier chapters, he was born as Tvasta Prajapati. Tvasta Prajapati is the son of Aditi and Kashyapa. That means they are Aditya, or they are Devatas. He comes from the demigod side of it. And because of that relationship, and also because the demigods, especially Indra, had offended his spiritual master Brihaspati. Because of the offense of to the spiritual master, Brihaspati left, and they are left without any spiritual master. So, and nobody should be without a spiritual master at any point of time. So, Lord Brahma and others said, you have to take a spiritual master. If Brihaspati is not there, take shelter of Vishwarupa. Make sure you are under his shelter and we should be guided. This is a very important point. Taking shelter of spiritual master is the most important point. And he said that Pandavas, during the exile period, they did not have any spiritual master. And they had to fight with Gandharvas because at one point in time, Gandharvas arrested Duryodhana and all others because they misbehaved with one of their girls. And when Pandavas go there, they are in the disguise of Brahmanas. And they go, and these people don't know that they are Bhima and Arjuna. And then so they fight with them. At the end, they realize that they ask them, you are wearing a Brahmana thread, but you are not a Brahmana, you are a Kshatriya. And we did not know that. Arjuna tells, we are Arjuna and Bhima, and we are brothers of Pandavas. We are brothers of Yudhishthira, and we are sent by him. And they say that we couldn't identify you because we didn't have a spiritual master. You should always have a spiritual master with you. Then on the consultation of Vyasadeva, they take Devala Rishi as the spiritual master while they're in exile. So everybody should have a spiritual master always. And here they take shelter of Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa in relation is like a son. And they take shelter of him. And by taking shelter of them, Vishwarupa teaches them the famous Narayana Kavacha. And because of that, they were able to defeat the demons. And these people were able to defeat the demons. Now, to strengthen these demigods, this sage, this Brahmana, who is Vishwarupa, what he is doing is, he is offering Havis. Havis means the ingredients in the yajna for the benefit of demigods by chanting mantras like Indraya idam swaha, Agnaya idam swaha. That means that this is meant for Indra, this is meant for Varuna, this is meant for Agni. Like this, we also say that Indraya idam namama. It means it is meant for Indra, it is not meant for me. It is Agnaya idam namama means it is meant for Indra, it is not for me. Like this, with the mantras when they chant, they are saying there is nothing in it for me, it is for you. They are specifying the God for whom they are offering it. And in the verse, if you see, they are also offering to demigods, various demigods, and also the Pitaraha. Pitaraha means forefather. They are also called Pitrudevas. They are also offering these aways to various demigods and others. But if you see from Bhagavad Gita and all the scriptures, what is the actual purpose of yajna? Yajna is meant for pleasing Lord Vishnu. Yajna, why Vishnu? Means yajna is Vishnu, yajna is meant for Vishnu. In fact, everything in the yajna, when you do, it should be for Krishna. Every limb of yajna is Krishna. And that is why there are many, many names of the Lord. And one of the name is Yajna. Yajna also means the Lord Vishnu. Not just that, in the Vishnu Sahasranam, if one goes and reads, there are around 10, 12 names of Krishna only by the name of Yajna. It says Yajno, Yajna Patru, Yajna, Yajnango, Yajna Vahanaha, Yajna Brut, Yajna Krit, Yajni, Yajna Bhuk, Yajna Sadhanaha, Yajnantagya, Yajna Ukyam, Annamannada Evacha. It means that Lord is Yajna, He is the very Yajna. The work you do with pure spirit and total dedication and selflessness for the pleasure of Lord is called Yajna. Lord is also called as Yagnapati, means he is the master of the Yajna. And Yajna is so powerful that the one who does is also called Yajna. And one we get Yajna Vahana means one who get the result of the Yajna, one who brings the result of the Yajna is also Vishnu. Like this, the material you offer in the Yajna is also Vishnu. Yajna book, the enjoyer of the Yajna is also Vishnu. Like this, Yajna Krit, Yajna Sadhana, Vishnu is obtained by Yajna. That is why we say that Yajna is Yajna Guhyam, means he is the secret of Yajna. He is to worship Lord through Yajna. That is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, it is a very beautiful statement. Yajnanam Japayognosmi. He says, of all the yajnas, Japayognosmi is the most important. And that is why that is the recommended process in the age of Kali Yuga. And it is to please the Lord. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, in the 9th chapter, he says that Aham Kratur, Aham Yagnam, Swadaham, Aham Aushadam, Mantroham, Aham Evajyam, Aham Agnir, Aham Bhutam. He says that it is I who am the ritual, I am the sacrifice, I am the offering, and I am the herb, I am the chant, I am the fire, I am the butter, I am the everything. The Lord is mentioning. So when you look at Yajna, everything is Lord Vishnu. It is for Lord Vishnu, it is Lord Vishnu. That's why Yajna is all auspicious. But in the third chapter of Gita, Krishna also said that we have to do perform Yajna for the pleasure of Lord. Yajna tat karmanonyatra. Lokoyam karma bandhanaha. That means that when you do this Yajna, your motto should be to please the Lord. If you do have any other motto, then that work will bind you, Lord is mentioning. You are doing Yajna is a recommended process, but your intent is also very important. Process is good, but the intent also should be very good. Intent should be to please the Lord. I may be following what you say, but my intent is different. That's not what it should be. That's why Lord says, those people who pray demigods are those people who want some material desires. Yes, Kankshata karmanam siddhim ajantaya devataha kshipram hi manushaloke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Hear that. Those who have material desires, those people, they worship demigod. That means they want to worship demigod. They want to offer something to demigod to get something quickly. That's what the purpose of doing it. Although in 7th chapter, Lord says that those people who have small intelligence only worship demigods. And the result they get is also very temporary. He says that. And in fact, the result that you are thinking the demigods are giving is also given by Krishna only, Lord is mentioning. So, but because they are doing it to demigods, that is called avidhi purvakam. It is absolutely going to Lord only, indirectly. You are worshipping the Lord indirectly, because everybody is part and parcel of the Lord. Demigods are the limbs of the Lord. When you are worshipping them, you are worshipping indirectly, not directly. How are you supposed to do Yajna? Who is the ultimate beneficiary of Yajna? It should be only Krishna. It should be to please Krishna. Our japa, we should do not to get some material benefit. It is to please Lord Krishna. That should be the mood of japa. When we chant the name of Krishna's, it should be to please Krishna, It is not to get any benefit from Krishna. That should be the mood of chanting and doing any yajna. That's why Lord says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva shantirichyati. Only when you do for the benefit of the Lord, you will get shanti. Otherwise, you will not get shanti. You will be bound. The Lord is mentioning very clearly. Let's look at the next verse. Sa eva hi dadau bhagam paroksham asuran prati yajamano vahat bhagam matrusneha vashanugaha. Although offering clarified butter in the sacrificial fire in the name of demigods, without the knowledge of the demigods, he also offered oblations to the demons because they were his relatives through his mother. Here, Vishwarupa, we know his father is Sashta Prajapati, he is from the Adityas, son of Kashyapa and Aditi. But his mother Rachana is from Daityas, from demons family. And his father married, Vishwarupa married, not Vishwarupa, Sashta Prajapati married Rachana, and just by marrying a demon is not enough. Yes, Prabhuji, you have a question? He married Rachana, a demon, but he also got progeny by associating with her at a wrong time. That's what people say. But in this particular case, he happened to be associating with Vishwarupa in a devotional mood, but he had demonic tendencies. That is why the heads that he got, one has a divine quality, one has a ignorant quality of demons, one is a quality, he has a natural quality, third quality is a passionate quality. And not just that, because of that affection he has been offering secretly to the offerings to the demons. He is officially appointed as a guru for the demigods, but because of his affection, because it is improper, unethical, so he was offering these offerings to the demons also, which is very bad. And it's not just only this side. We have seen how a father from one family, mother from another family had effects. We have seen various examples in Puranas and Ramayana, like we see the Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shurpanakha, and Vibhishana. They were also born to Vishravasmuni. He is a son of Pulastha Prajapati, he is a Brahmana. But his wife is Kekasi, he is a demon. Because they associated in the wrong time, these people were born with demoniac qualities. But the Kekasi was repentant. She begged her husband, I made a mistake. See, please forgive me. When you make a mistake and ask forgiveness, then he gives that your last son, Vibhishana, will become a devotee. Similarly, we see Aditi and Kashyapa, they associated in a wrong time, because of which demons Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were born. But when she was repentant, he gave a boon that their grandson will be a great devotee. Prahlad came about. So this is how it happens. But it is important that we have to associate with the right people, because the right mindset will come. One more question here, that what that Vishwarupa is doing is a balanced act. He should be a Lord is Sugudam Sarvabhutanam. Lord says he doesn't discriminate. So why should Vishwarupa discriminate? Why should he not give these havis or the offerings to demons? What is wrong in it? You may call it, right? Everybody is equal. They are equal, mother side, father side. Everybody is equal. But we should not look at that angle. We should be look at a different side of the angle. Is that the angle one we should look at is, what are demigods doing? Demigods are the limbs of the Lord. That means that they are part and parcel of the Lord, and they are trying to align to the function of the Lord. They are appointed by the Lord to do certain duties. There is nothing wrong in demons getting this service. The problem is they are using that strength to attack demigods in stopping their work. That means in stopping their service to the Lord. They are doing service to the Lord as Lord has ordained them. Lord has said sun to give light. Lord has said Indra to give rain. They are doing their functions. Now these demons, they are fighting this in the hungry for power, and they are fighting with the demigods to disturb the peace. That is why it is wrong. We also see, right, Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He was saying that, I don't want to fight. Whereas Kauravas are ready to fight. Krishna said, no, you are supposed to fight. Reason being, your fighting is not sin because your fighting is to serve me. I came here for a purpose. My purpose of appearing is Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya dushkutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So this is my purpose of coming here. So you should also align with my purpose and do what I intend to do. And that is why Arjuna was encouraged to fight, but with the right consciousness. Not to take a revenge on Kauravas, but to fight for the pleasure of Krishna. Similarly, Yajna, whatever we are doing should be have a goal. The goal is the pleasure of Krishna. It is not any other thing. Taddeva helanam tasya dharmalikam sureshwara alakshatara sabitasta chirshanya chinnad rusha. Once upon a time, however, the king of heaven, Indra, understood that Vishvarupa was secretly cheating the demigods by offering oblations on behalf of demons. He became extremely afraid of being defeated by the demons, and in great anger at Vishvarupa, he cut Vishvarupa's 3 heads from his shoulders. Now, this is like what Vishvarupa, Indra came to know that, what Vishvarupa is doing. Because he is doing this, suddenly one day he found out what he is doing. Now we realize that in one way, you are putting strength onto me to fight. In another way, you are putting strength on the enemies. The purpose is lost. The purpose is lost. And it is similar to this. An elephant goes to take bath. If you take the example of elephant going to take bath, it is muddy, takes bath to clean. But if it comes out of dust again, it becomes muddy again. Similarly, giving to demigod strength and demon strength is like becoming futile. The same thing applies even for us in our daily chanting. That's why we have Vidhi, Nisheda, both are there. We have rules and regulations, do's and don'ts. Prabhupada in our movement has mentioned that we have to chant 16 rounds. We have to do Eka. There are do's he has given us. Along with, he said, don't do, there are many don'ts. Yes, no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling. Because what happens if you do both? It's like you're lighting a fire and pouring water on it. It doesn't have effect on it. That's the reason why we have to follow both rules and regulations equally. And he is not doing that by doing this act. Vishwarupa, he is not doing that. And that's why the words that are used very carefully here. The word says dharma alikam, means that cheating in the religious principles, pretending to be a priest of demigods, but secretly acting as a priest of demons also. And one more word he uses, bhitihi, means that he is afraid. When will we be afraid? Unless you have a desire for something. I'm afraid if I lose something. He is also afraid of something that he will lose. They will win over him. He is afraid. And he also has rusa. Rusa means great anger. We say in Telugu, rusa rusa ladu. It means that his extreme anger, he got extreme anger. He's having this kind of extreme anger. And in that anger, he has killed, he has chopped off the heads of 3 heads of Vishwarupa. That was he did. So how did he act? Krishna says how one should act in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Vitaraga Bhayakruda. We should be free from attachment. We should be free from Bhaya. We should be free from Krodha. We should be free from anger. And we should worship me in a peaceful room. Manmaya ma upasritaha. He is giving the example. This is how we are supposed to worship. But he is acting in fear and anger because he has a desire that he is serving the purpose of the Lord by maintaining it. At the same time, he has a desire for his position. That is the mistake. He has a desire for his position. That's the problem he has. Because of the desire, he did a heinous act of killing a Brahmana. And this is why it is called Karpanya dosha. It is because of his miserly weakness, he has made a sin. Krishna says that even Bhaya, Abhaya, Krodha, all these things, they come from him only. He says in 10th chapter, while describing his opulences, he says that all the 20 qualities which you think of, everything came from me. If everything came from him, then is there anything wrong in using them? Yes. We have to use everything for Krishna only. If you use for anything else for our pleasure, that is wrong. Hanuman used the anger in the service of Lord Ram. He did not get any sin. We are supposed to use everything for Krishna. That's the purpose. Because of this anger, because of this fear, he has chopped off the head of the Vishwarupa. Somapi etam tu yat tasya sira asit kapinjalaha kalavinka surapetam annadam yat sa titi. Therefore, the head meant for drinking somarasa was transformed into kapinjala. Similarly, the head meant for drinking wine was transformed into kalavinka. The head meant for eating food became a titri. These are 3 different kinds of birds. One is a divine bird. One is a bird which is what indulges in lot of pleasures and kind of things. One is a normal bird. So, but here if you observe, typically when somebody's head is chopped off, what happens? They decay and they merge into the elements of the earth. Similarly, we see when somebody passes away, what do? We take the body, we put it onto fire, and then we take some part mix in the air, some part we take go into the earth, some part we merge into the water. Like this, we send it back to the natural elements. But here we see that they did not become like that. They are transformed into a different kinds of birds. I mean, a living entity. It came out of a material element. The soul of Vishwarupa has gone. But the material elements were able to give back to life. What is this? How do one explain? This is because purely of the power of Narayana Kavacha. He has chanted, he has instructed this Narayana Kavacha to the demigods. Because of the power of Narayana Kavacha, even a material thing can become spiritual. That sounds absurd for anybody. But if you look at our deities in temple, they are made of material elements, stone, wood, all kinds of elements. But when we chant the holy names of the Lord and invite the Lord, Lord appears personally in the material elements. He becomes life. And there are many devotees who have experience with the Lord, deities. He can feel deities happy, deities unhappy, deities eaten full. We see in our temple in Kalachandi temple in Dallas. People say that Lord goes thin sometimes. Lord has become fat sometimes. Lord sometimes red eyes are red. Somebody by mistake keeps them to bed late. The eyes appear red. So this is all kind of this with the deities. Deity is a live person. We cannot treat them as a material. Deity is spiritual. Deity is a person.
నేను బయటకు
To
వెళ్ళావా
prove this point,
ఇదిగో ఇది కట్ చేసి ఈ బయట పోస్ట్ అన్ని దులిపేసి.
Mataji, can you go on mute, Mataji? Deity is like a person. But we have seen in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Nityanand Prabhu explains to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the story of Sakshi Gopal. Sakshi Gopal was a deity, but he came walking all the way from Vrindavan to Orissa just for his devotee. So that tells that when we take the name of the Lord, everything gets Chaitanya, everything gets the consciousness, everything becomes pure. That is the power of Narayan Kavacha, the holy names of the Lord. And we see further in the Bhagavatam that there is one Brahmana or sage who does Narayana Kavacha and he leaves his body. After a long time, his bones are left there in the body. And there is a Gandharva by name Chitra Ratha. He is trying to go by aeroplane. But the moment he sees that area, he comes to the area, the airplane falls down. It's a no-fly zone. You can't fly over it. That is the power of Narayan Kavacha. Then he can't fly back. Then he asks the sages, what is the reason why it is happening? They tell that this is because this sage chanted the Narayan Kavacha, you cannot go over it. That is the power of Narayan Kavacha. They advise him to take these bones and with all due rights immerse in the ocean, then you can go over it. That shows the power of the holy names of the Lord, Narayan Kavacha power. That is what we are seeing that. We also saw how Lord Ramachandra, by the touch of his feet, dust of lotus feet, you could transform a stone into a Ahalya. Similarly, Krishna could transform Yamanarjuna trees into demigods. So this is the power of touch of the name of the Lord or Lord's personal presence. We can see this. Brahmahatyam Anjalina Jagrahayad Apishwaraha Samvatsarandiradagham Bhutanam Savishuddhaye Bhumni Ambu Drauma Yosidbhyas Chaturdha Yabhajad Tarihi. Although Indra was so powerful and he could neutralize the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmana, he repentantly accepted the burden of these reactions with folded hands. He suffered for 1 year, and then to purify himself, he distributed the reactions of his sinful killing among the earth, water, trees, and women. So Vishwarupa was the son of a Brahmana, and not because he is son of Brahmana, by qualities also he was like a Brahmana. Rupa says, Janma jayate shudraha hamskarat bhavet vipra dvijaha vedabhyasa bhavati vipraha brahma janati iti Brahmana. He says that everybody is born as Shudra, but when he does the samskaras, he becomes a dvija. He is like second born. When he reads the Shastras, he becomes a Vipra. And when he understands that Krishna is supreme and he is not the body and he is the partner part of the Supreme Lord and he should serve the Supreme Lord, then he is called a Brahmana. Okay. And first of the Vishwarupa being a Brahmana, he understood, he channeled the holiness of the Lord. And he being a Brahmana, and because Indra killed him, he got the sin of Brahmahatya. Brahmahatya is a very serious sin. It's a very, very sinful act. Extremely sinful act. And it is mentioned that Indra is a great personality here. He has the ability to counteract, in the sense that he has the ability to overcome this Brahmahatya by following some processes. But he did not do that. Rather, he repented for 1 year to reduce the gravity. But then Indra has a position to maintain. He has a job to maintain the universe. And he can be sitting idle, because the Brahmahatya takes a long time forever to go away. It is not a small Hatya. It takes millions of years, millions of births. So much prayashchita has to be done, otherwise it will not go away. It's very difficult to go away. And but he has a job to do. So he takes the shelter of four people. One is the Mother Earth. He takes the shelter of water, rivers, and he also takes the shelter of women. He takes the shelter of trees, and he distributes them one fourth each, so that he can become free of the sin, so that he can continue his job. So he does this job. So here, because one has to offer, if you look at it, earth represents the earth material, element earth. Water represents the element water. Trees represent the element air. Trees give the power of oxygen. They give us oxygen. They give us the right life. Air gives the life. So tree represents the air. Women represent the fire. Women are like fire. We should never be careless with them. We should always be careful when dealing with women. And this Brahmahatya is not a small thing. And so he has given to those people. But the great personalities like Lord Ramachandra, when he killed Ravana, Lord is supreme. He doesn't make any sin. But just to establish how great a sin to kill a Brahmana, Lord Ramachandra also does some austerities uh, to get rid of this Brahmahatya. Not that he has it, but to show an example to others, one should not commit a sin against a Brahmana. He does this. There's a point, even Lord Shiva committed Brahmahatya. It is said that Lord Brahma had 5 heads to start with. And there are various stories in different Puranas. They say that he offended different reasons. For that offense, Lord Shiva chops off his 5th head, that head which made offense, because of which he had the Brahmahatya Pataka. And Lord Shiva, to get rid of it, it took a long time, even for Lord Shiva, greatest personality. He had to go as a bhikshat. He had to take the skull, the kapala, the chopped head of Brahma. He had to beg for food. Nobody will give him the food. Finally, Lord Vishnu says that you go to Varanasi, there you get the food, and then you will get rid of this Brahmahatya. When he goes to Varanasi, Mother Annapurna gives him the food bowl, and with that, he gives up the Brahmahatya. It takes millions of years, ages, yes, to get rid of this. Even Lord Shiva could not escape that. That is why it is very, very dangerous to kill a Brahmana. It is not recommended to kill a Brahmana because they are worshippers of Lord Krishna. Krishna says, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya, Jagaditaya Krishnaya, Govindaya, Namo Nama. Lord says, I stay in the heart of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. They are very, very dear to the Lord. And Arjuna also in the Bhagavad Gita, we see in the first chapter, right? When Krishna, he gives various reasons why he should not fight. But when Krishna says in second chapter beginning, he says, come on, this is weakness of your heart. This is just impotence. Just get up and fight. Arjuna puts forth the reason saying that how can I counteract Drona and Bhishma? Bhishma is a great devotee of the Lord. And also Drona is a Brahmana. He is my teacher. How can I kill him? He gives that reason because it is very sinful. He gives that reason not to fight. But what would think of Brahmana? Brahmanas are very, very dear to the Lord. A Brahmana means a true Brahmana, not a Brahmana who is just by namesake. Krishna says that there are 4 kinds of varnas. Chaturvarna maya srishtam, ganakarma vibhagasha. He says that I divided these 4 classes of men according to the gunas, sattar, jastama gunas. And then he assigned the activities for them. So, but these Brahmanas, because they are directly worshipping the Lord, Brahmanas are supposed to be the head of the Lord. And because they killed him, they get Brahmahatya. And we say that, that's why we say, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana. Even Go also. Go means cows are also very dear to Krishna. Cow means mother. There are 7 mothers we have. Our own mother, the mother of a guru, mother of a wife of a guru, wife of a brahmana, wife of a king, mother earth, cow and nurse. These are all called the mothers. We cannot kill them. We should always take care of them. Lord is they are very dear to the Lord. So he had to offer, so whatever is reason, Indra had to give up these sins by distributing the sinful reactions to the four people. That is water, earth, trees, and women. But the challenge here is Indra was able to get rid of the sins, but the sinful desire, the root cause of sin, was still with him. He had the root, the sin was gone by giving away, but the sinful desire was still there. So he commits sin again. We'll see in the following next few chapters. He kills Rudrasura also. Rudrasura also is a Brahmin. And he again gets Brahma Hatya. And he had to suffer for a long period. And he had to lose the Pada Indra's position for a long time because he could not rule with the Brahma Hatya. And somebody else by name Nahusha had to become the king, Indra. It's like a big story by itself. So the sinful desire is still staying with Indra. So he could give away the sins for now and get to that point. In the Kali Yuga, you may think that Brahma Hatya, nobody kills Brahmana. But there are many, many activities that we do. They are considered equivalent of killing a Brahmana. It is like insulting elders or a teacher, or neglecting the Vedic studies or Shastras, or mocking them. Is also as good as killing a Brahmana. It is said that killing a pregnant woman is also like killing a Brahmana. It is also said killing a embryo with abortions is all by medicines or operation. It is also like killing a Brahmana. And killing a surrendered soul to Krishna is also like killing a Brahmana. There are people who make so many mistakes. So there are so many ways. It's not just killing a Brahmana directly. There are so many equivalent that we make mistakes, and they are called equivalent Brahmanas, the Brahma Hatyas. And in Kali Yuga, we make millions of sins. And how do we get rid of this? And not that even if we get rid of sins, we have the sinful desire. That's why Rupa Goswami Prabhupada says, he says that Kleshastu papam tad bijam avidya cheti trida. You get miseries because of three reasons. First is you are doing sins. Second is you have sinful desires. Third, you have avidya, means ignorance. These are the three causes. Because if you have avidya, you will have sinful desires. If you have sinful desires, then you will do sins. Because you do sins, you will suffer. Very clearly. He also gives remedy. What is the remedy for us? We can't give it to, if we make sins like that, we can't give it to Mother Earth. Nobody will accept our sins. Everybody is sinful in Kali Yuga here. So he says that, yes, aprartha param papam kutam bijam padonmukam krameniya praliyate Vishnu Bhakti Ratatmana. When you take the Vishnu Bhakti, chant the holy names of Krishna, your sins can be destroyed. By chanting Harinam, your sins can be destroyed. He says very clearly. And then what about sins can be destroyed? But people say, I can only destroy that sins which is aprarabdha. Prarabdha is I'm suffering already. What about that sin? I can't change the prarabdha. People say. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada says, no. He says, quotes from Bhagavatam and says, no. Even prarabdha can be taken away by chanting the holy name of the Lord. He says, Ennama dhyaya sravananu kirtana yat prahvanat smaranat api kvachit svadopi sadhya savanaya kalpate kutah punaste bhagavanu darshanat. Says that when prarabdha can be changed, when one takes the holy name of the Lord, he chants the glories of the Lord, qualities of the Lord. He hears about the Lord, or he sings about the Lord. He bows down to the Lord, or he hears about the Lord, or sings about the God, or thinks about the Lord. Then, Father, even a dog eater is eligible to become a Brahmana and perform everything. Typically, when we see Prarabdha means you cannot change. You cannot change your birth. Birth by itself doesn't mean anything. Birth means if you are born in a family of Shudra, typically you are not allowed to perform any Vedic karmas. But we see in our movement, in Srila Prabhupada's movement, how by chanting the holy names of the Lord, how by taking Bhagavatam, hearing and chanting and doing all the service to the Lord, everybody is become a Brahmana. Everybody is qualified to do bhakti. Everybody is doing everything. That itself is a proof that even prarabdha can be changed. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada says that. Besides, okay, prarabdha is aprarabdha, it's all sinful reactions. We can do chanting of the holy name, we can get rid of it. But there are other means also. Like we can do tapo dana, we can do tapaha, we can do yajna, vratas, like there are other people who did it. Like Shiva did. There are so many other things we can do to get rid of sins. But the sinful desire, how do you get rid of it? He quotes from Bhagavatam, he says, Taistani agani puyante tapo dana vratadvihi na dharmajam tatrudayam tadapi sangrisevaya. He says that you can get rid of all the sins by doing tapa, then dana or vratas, means different austerities. But the sinful desire doesn't go away. That can go away when you chant the holy name of the Lord. When you do service to the Lord, then that root of desire also is gone. So he said, for sin, Harinam. For sinful desires, Harinam again is the solution. What about the avidya? The reason why is ignorance. He even says that, even for Vijay, avidya also, he says that when you take to the holy name of the Lord, at pada pankaja Alasa vilasa bhaktya karmasayam gachitam udkrantayanti santaha taddanna riktamatayo yatayo piruddho shoto ganatama avaja aranam bhajavasudevam. He says that when one takes to the holy name of the Lord, even the avidya, that is also destroyed. That means that you have three causes of the klesha of misery. Your sinful reactions, sins that can be taken away by Harinam. Your sinful desires are taken away by Harinam, and the ignorance, the cause of the sinful desires, is also taken away by Harinam. That's why we say Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam Kalau Nasteva 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 Gatiranyata. In fact, it is said that the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that you cannot make that many sins that the holy name can contract. Namno hi yavat shakti hi papa niraharanam arehe tavat kartum na shaknoti padakam pataki naraha. He says that you cannot perform so many sins that the holy name can contract. He is saying that. The essence is that we have to take to Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When we take to this Mahamantra, then we can get rid of all the three avidya, sinful desires, and also the sins itself. We have seen in the Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna, when he is falling into illusion, he was thinking, I cannot enjoy. I'm getting sin. And he's in illusion. What did he do? While getting into illusion, he has taken shelter of Lord Krishna. He has taken the names of Krishna. He has been chanting the names of Madhusudana, Govinda, Madhava, Rishikesa, Harisudana, Achyuta. Like this, he was taking different names of Krishna, and then he surrendered to Krishna also. He said, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. That means, Prapannam means he has surrendered to Krishna. That is the example we have to take. We may be falling into illusion, we may be falling into sinful desires, sinful desires may be there. We may be doing sins, but as Arjuna has done that, he has done the prapannam to the Lord. The moment he did prapannam to the Lord, what is the Lord? Krishna. He is also called prapanna parigataya, totra vetraika parnaye, nana mudraya, krishnaya, Gita Amrita Tuhe Namaha. That means that Krishna is the desire fulfilling tree of those people who take shelter of him. And he gives the knowledge by which, he is Gnanamudraya, he gives the knowledge by which everything taken from a root, uprooted from the root itself. That is what we see. Similarly, we see here in the Bhagavad Gita, immediately when he surrendered, Krishna has took to the task and he removed the ignorance first. He took the avidya as the root cause. He said, you are not the body, you are the soul. He started with removing the avidya itself. And then slowly went to remove sinful desire. Everything has been taken out. And he immediately fought back. That's the power of Krishna. When you take shelter of Krishna, we immediately get all the solved. For us in Kali Yuga, what should we do? We were given the only one name, Harer Nama. We already know from Kalsantarana Upanishad. It is said that when we chant the holy names of Krishna, that's the only way. Hare Nama, Hare, he says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Di Shoroshakam, Nam Kali Kalmashanashanam, Nata Paratop Veda, Paratopaya, Sarvavedeshu Drishyate. There is no other way. There is no other way. The entire Vedic system is this in the Kali Yuga. He says that what can this do? Because this process of chanting the holy names of the Lord, can it contact Brahmahatya? Can it contact all kinds of sins? Narada asks this question. Then Brahma replies to him, yes, he says that. But how can Yadrisa Soroshakasya Shraddha Trikoti Japatita Brahmahatyayam Tirati Virahatyayam. He says that even if you do Brahmahatya, you do Virahatya, you steal gold, you have illicit sex, you give up all your dharmas and do nothing, even then, when you take to the holy name of the Lord, when you chant the holy name of the Lord, then you can be freed from all these things. That is the power of Hare Krishna Mahamanta. That is recommended for this age. And he has given no rules for doing it. Typically, when we have to do something, there are so many restrictions. We will see how one, if it does not follow or chant properly, the effect of it, we will see in this very chapter, in a few verses down the line, we will see how negative effects will come. But the Lord is so merciful and he has given everything in his holy name. Okay. And let's move forward. Bhumisturiyam jagruha khatapura vay hirinam brahmahatyayam rupam bhumo pradushyate. And even for King Indra's benediction, the ditches in the earth would be filled automatically. The land accepted 1/4 of the sinful reaction for killing a Brahmana. Because of those sinful reactions, we find many deserts on the surface of the earth. So the earth took the 1/4 of the sins of Indra, because of which Indra also gave a benefit that whenever some ditches fall, they get filled up. But earth also will have deserts. Prabhupada says that those who live in the deserted areas where they can't perform any Vedic karmas, they are also sharing the sins of Indra, of Brahmahatya. Turyam cheda virohena varena jagruhu trumaha tesham niryasa rupena brahmahatya pradushyate. Written for Indra's benediction that the branches and twigs will grow back when trimmed. The trees accepted 1/4 of the reactions for killing a Brahmana. These reactions are visible in the flowing of sap from trees. For the trees, Indra gives a benediction that when somebody cuts it, tree branches and everything, it still grows back. That's a boon he has given. But in return, for the sin they are accepting, and for that sin they are accepting, trees get that sap. That sap is inauspicious. That is why drinking wine, or kallu we call in Telugu, is all very inauspicious. It's drinking like Brahma Hatya. Alcohol drinking is like Brahma Hatya. We should never drink alcohol. Shashvat Kama Varenam Has Turiyam Jakru Striya Rajo Rupena Samho Masi Pradrasyate. In return for Lord Indra's benediction that they would be able to enjoy lusty desires continuously, even during pregnancy for a long or as long as sex is not injurious to the embryo, woman accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions. As a result of those reactions, women manifest the signs of menstruation every month. So that is the reason why we say that women should not go during those 3 days to do any divine work. They should stay, take rest, and other people should take care of the house because then that is not recommended for that reason. But people, one may question it. People, ladies will have a lot of karma. That's karma by itself is not dangerous. Karma means in typical we karma means we say that's the desires. Karma means also any desire. We see in ladies we see a lot of desire. They want gold. They want all kinds of things. But karma can be used in a positive way also. That's why when devotees when they take calm, that calm is not calm. It's called prem. Ambarish Maharaj says that when he's describing how one should do everything in service of the Lord, he says that Savai mana Krishna Padaravindayo, our mind should be used, always focus on the Lord's lotus feet. Like he describes every anga of the body. And when it comes to kama, he says kamam to dasya, not to kama kamyaya. He says that our desire should be nothing but to desire the service of the Lord, nothing but it. That karma is what we should do. In fact, Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Atmendriya Preeti Vanchatara Balikama Krishnendriya Preeti Chadare Prema Nama. It means that when you desire for yourself, that is called kama. But when you desire the same for Krishna, that becomes prema. The very calm becomes prem. It becomes 180 degrees opposite. Your desire is there. You're just channelizing the desire to Krishna. And that becomes a prem. The time is, I already think I have completed 1 hour 15 minutes. Prabhuji, can I take a few more minutes to complete this?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, please.
So we see that that's why gopis are the highest bhav. Though they are women, they get the highest because they channelize the desires to Krishna. They come to Krishna and they becomes a prem. They are the best devotees. They are the best devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has taken appeared as a devotee, but he took Radha Bhava as a woman to get that love for Krishna, the calm for Krishna, which is the love for Krishna. He exhibited that. So only when we have convert the calm to for Krishna, that becomes the prem. We should understand that. Dravya bhuyo varenaspas turiyam jagrurmalam tasu budbuda pena piyayam drishtam tadharati kshipan. And in return for King Indra's benediction, the water would increase the volume of other substances with which it was mixed. Water accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions. Therefore, there are bubbles and foam in water. When one collects water, these should be avoided. That's why it is said that one should not take bath in rivers when it is foamy. So in certain reasons, we don't take bath in rivers. It is also said that we should not offer to our Vaishnavas or anybody for that matter, especially the deities, milk or juices or anything which has foam, bubbles. We should never offer that to the Lord. It should be clean of bubbles. Tata hata putras tatastashta juhava vendraya satrave indra shatru vivadasva machiram jahi vidvisham. After Vishwarupa was killed, his father Tvasta performed ritualistic ceremonies to kill Indra. He offered oblations in sacrificial fire, saying, O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay. This is a very, very classic example which is quoted very often in very various lectures. that how in any Vaidhi karma, if one does not chant properly, just because one syllable was pronounced long, the meaning has changed. That he was actually requesting for it because of anger against Indra. Sasta was performing a sacrifice to get a child who can kill Indra. But because he chanted the mantra with a long vowel, the meaning has changed, because of which he got a child who will be killed by Indra. This shows that how careful one should be when chanting the mantras. It is very, very dangerous to chant the mantras just like that. And Krishna says that when he chants in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says that Kamaistaiste Hృతజ్ఞానాః Prapajyante Anya Devataः Tam Tam Niyamastaya. Here you have to follow those rules very carefully. The niyama you have to follow very strictly when you worship demigods. Otherwise, you will have negative reactions. Lord is clearly mentioning. And the result you get is very temporary. It is in fact so much that to get perfection, even in the demigod worship, you have to take the holy name of the Lord to complete the demigod worship. And is why after every worship, demigod worship or any worship, one has to chant this. Yadaksharapada brastram matra hinam chiyad bhaved tattarvam khamyadam deva narayana namostute. Hear that. When we chant the name of Narayana, when we take, then everything becomes perfect. All the mistakes that we chanted will be ignored and become perfect. That is why any worship you do, Sandhya Vandan or do any worship, you start with Pavitra Pavitra, take name of Krishna, Ketava Narayana, and end with these mantras. We have to take the name of Krishna to, even for material things, you worship demigod. To get successful result, even for that, you have to take chant name of Krishna. That's why Shukracharya also says, Mantrata Tantrata Chitram, Desha Kalarha Vastutaha, Sarvam Karoti Nishchidram, Anusankirtram Tava. There may be discrepancies in pronouncing the mantras and observing the relative principles. And moreover, there may be discrepancies in regard to time, place, and person and paraphernalia. But when your Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. Ata Vaharya Pachanad Uchito Gora Darshanaha Katanta Ivalokanam Yuganta Samaye Yatha. Thereafter, from the southern side of the sacrificial fire, known as Anvaharya, came a fearful personality who looked like a destroyer of the entire creation at the end of the millennium. Here describing the appearance of Vrutrasura. He appears from the southern direction. In the Vastu Shastra, we say south is for Yama, the Lord of Death. And he appears from south because he came to destroy. That's why in any Vedic karma, any positive karma you want to do, you always face east, north, northeast. Because they are where places of Indra, Shiva, and Kubera. This is the direction one should face and perform any activity. By south is the direction for death, one should never perform anything in that. Vishvagni Vivardhamananam tam ishu matram dine dine dagda saila pratikasam andhyabra abranika varchasam tapta tamra sikasa smrasum madhyan arkogra lochanam dedipyamane trishike shula aropya rodasi Nityantam Unnadantam cha Chalayantam Padamahim Dari Gambhira Vaktrena Vataja Namastalam Alihatta Jihvayarkshani Dasata Bhuvanatrayam Mahata Rodradam Strena Jrambhayam pamanam muhurmuhu mitrastadu truvurloka iksha sarve disho dasha. Like arrows released in the four directions, the demon's body grew day after day, tall and blackish. He appeared like a burnt hill and was lustrous as a bright array of clouds in the evening. The hair of the demon's body and his beard and mustache were the color of melted copper, and his eyes were piercing like the midday sun. He appeared unconquerable, as if holding the three worlds on the points of his blazing trident. Dancing, shouting, and shouting with a loud voice, he made the entire surface of the earth tremble as if from an earthquake. As he yawned again and again, he seemed to be trying to swallow the whole sky with his mouth. It was deep as a cave. He seemed to be licking up all the stars in the sky with his tongue and eating the entire universe with his long, sharp teeth, eating this gigantic demon. Everyone in great fear ran here and there in all directions. If you read this verse, this description, it is very similar to see that when they're describing the Veerbhadra also, a very similar description was given. But whatever it is, he is very, very fierce. He is like a death. There's nothing more fear than death. The descriptions are given. I don't want to get into this. Enavruta ime loka tapasa tvastamurtina savai iti proktaha papa paramadarunah. That very, very fearful demon was actually the son of Tvasta, covered all the planet system by dint of austerity. Therefore, he was named as Vritra, or one who covers everything. Because he was so fierce, he's covering everything. He's called, because he covers everything, he's called Rutra. So here we also see what is the biggest demon in our life. Krishna says, biggest enemy in your life is lust. Lust is the biggest enemy. He says that there's nothing more than lust. He says that. He says, Avrutam gnanametena. What does lust do? It covers your gnanam. Avrutam gnanametena, gnanino nitya vairina, kamarupena kauntena, dushpurena analena cha. Any desire to enjoy yourself. That is the biggest enemy. He says that. And to get out of that, he also gives a solution in Bhagavad Gita. He says that evam buddhe param buddha samtab jatmanam atmanaha tekshatrum mahabaho kamarupa durasam, taking shelter of Krishna. We should be able to get over this biggest enemy called lust. So let's all take to the holy name of the Krishna. We have chanted the slokas of which we made so many mistakes. But when we take to the holy name of Krishna, all our mistakes will be forgiven and become perfect. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sorry, Prabhuji, I took 10 minutes extra. Please forgive me for my offenses. If I said anything wrong, please forgive me. Please ignore that offenses. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, Sakhya Prem Prabhu, for such a wonderful class. Really grateful for you reiterating about the importance of chanting Krishna's name with a lot of attention. Prabhuji, one doubt I have, one query I have. When we say that Indra had committed that sin of killing a Brahmana, then he says it will be distributed among 4 places, right? How can somebody's sin be distributed into 4 places? What is the understanding about it? Like, he is distributing his sin, or the people who have done sin will come and experience that sin in those 4 places?
He has, first he tried to reduce the sin, Prabhuji. Initially, he repented 1 year to reduce the gravity of it, first little bit. And then, but to do his duty, as it told, they have voluntarily accepted his sinful reactions. It means sometimes what happens is somebody makes a sin, but somebody suffers for his sins. So here we may bring a philosophy of karma also, but here the Lord has ordained him to do his duty, so he gave up the sinful sins. They were accepted by these people, And it's a magnanimity of these people. That's why we have to respect trees, water, women, and earth. We have to respect them, and because they accepted others. And the mother, she takes all the kicks of the child, and she takes care of them. Similarly, these four elements are mothers, like mothers, and they have taken the sins, and they are suffering. That is the Vaishnava quality. As you see that there are Vaishnava quality. Vaishnava suffers. They take other suffering. They can't see other suffering. They take other suffering. To help Indra, they took other suffering. I don't know if I answered your question right, Prabhuji.
Sure,
But,
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Really grateful. Wonderful class, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. But he could not give away sinful desires, though. He only gave away sin. That's why he committed sin again. Only holy name could prevent that.
Sure. Anybody else? Any questions?
Hari Bol, Sakhya Prem Prabhuji.
Hari Bol, Pranam. How are you, Prabhuji?
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice class, Prabhuji. I am attending here from New York City. Very nice. Nicely pointed out from verses from Bhagavad Gita in connection with these verses. Really appreciated. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danat Pranam Prabhu. Very nice class, Prabhu. Wonderful, wonderful class, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. I hope we get to see you soon.
Yes, Prabhu. Waiting 1 more week.
Hari Hari. So if nobody has any class, then questions, then we can wrap up, I believe.
Hare Krishna,
So, thank you
Prabhuji.
very much, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, one question,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Yeah,
You, you mentioned about prarabdha karma also, right? When we chant, all the prarabdha karma also gets removed. Like
Yes,
generally, prarabdha karma means only past life karmas, or even present karmas also. It will come under present, whatever we are doing in this life.
Prarabdha karma means the karma which is already fructified, that for which you are suffering. For which you are already suffering. Suppose, and that cannot be changed. Your birth is determined. You cannot change your birth. You're already born. By birth, in one family, you can't change that. You can't change your mother. You can't change your father. They're all born. But by virtue of that, what has happened is there are certain, if you are born to one family of devotee, you get natural some benefits. You don't get the benefit of being the born to a wrong family. You don't get the benefit of it. But by doing bhakti, you are being elevated from that state to a Brahmana state. We see all the devotees in our movement. There are many, many devotees who come from different family backgrounds. It doesn't matter. Mlechas, yes, Yavanas, doesn't matter. When they are taken to the holy name of the Lord, they are considered great. Haridas Thakur was born in a family of Yavanas. He became greatest Acharya Ramacharya just by the holy name of the Lord. Okay, that means you are erasing your prarabdha. Your life is meant not for doing some rituals. Your life is meant for doing the right thing to go back to Godhead, and you have given that opportunity. Prarabdha means not to enjoy some called luxuries, and that is not the prarabdha. Prarabdha is meant to get out of this misery, and you are given this opportunity. Getting such birth is very rare, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Getting a birth in the family of a devotee or Brahmanas is rare. And no matter where you are born, by taking the holy name of the Lord, you are getting the same benefit. But being in the born of a family of a Brahmanas, but if you don't take the holy name, you are degrading yourself to be a Mlechas. That's the meaning of it.
But getting the association also is a part of that karma, Prabhuji. I mean, so unless you do some proper good karma, you will not be able to get association.
Right, Prabhuji. That is a cycle, right? That is why Vaishnavas go out and give the association. If you have the association, how do your knowledge comes, and then bhakti increases. Bhakti increases, knowledge comes. This cycle is that.
Okay.
But to give that basic input, A devotee has to come and give you. Bhakti is independent. Bhakti is not dependent on anything else. Bhakti is jnana karma janavritam, right? But to give that, a devotee goes and gives Harinam. If you hear Harinam, you meet a devotee in book distribution, you hear about Krishna by chance, somehow or other, favorably, your bhakti has started. And that is going to get you
Okay.
out.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving up. If I made any offenses, please forgive me, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Thank you.
Pranam.
Thanks for
Wonderful class, Prabhuji. One thing that
Okay,
struck me is you told about chanting, where you said you can
yes.
do a lot of pious activities, go to visit places and all that stuff, which will remove your sins, but sinful propensity can only be removed by chanting. That was really wonderful, Prabhu. It struck me like anything. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Another Pranam, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji, we'll wrap up then. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpata
Sorry,
pasin. Sakhya Prem Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
You are only the host, Prabhu. You only have to close the call. Sakhya Prem.
Yes, Prabhuji?
You are only the host, Prabhu. You only have to close the call.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.